In the last video, we talked about the importance of citations as a way to track the research conversation. Today, we're going to look at how to format our citations both within the body of the paper and in the reference list. As a student, you get to participate in the research conversation. That means your paper should reference other people's ideas, but also add your own ideas. This might mean you draw connections between two different articles, or maybe you notice something that wasn't mentioned in the previous articles. A research paper is your chance to show your thinking and contribute to the research conversation. However, if you reference or mention another researcher's work, you need to cite where that information came from, both in the paper and at the end of the paper in the reference list or bibliography. When we add quotes or reference another's work in the body of the paper and cite our source, we call this an in-text citation. There are two types of in-text citations. The first one is called parenthetical because we put the citation in parentheses. The second is called narrative because it goes directly into the sentence. Whether you paraphrase or directly quote another person's work, you need an in-text citation. As the writer, you get to choose between parenthetical or narrative citations and paraphrasing or direct quoting. Generally, we would want to use a combination of all four. However, keep in mind that even if you cite your sources, if the majority of your paper is direct quotes or even paraphrases and very little of your own thoughts, you may not earn the grade you were hoping for, and you are not helping to contribute to the research conversation. The Writing Center is a great place to get help in adding quotes to your paper. Let's look at an example of formatting in-text citations. For parenthetical citations, we use parentheses at the end of the quote or sentence to share the citation information. For narrative quotes, we use the author's name within the sentence to introduce the quote or paraphrased idea. Then the publication year of the article is included in parentheses after the author's name. If we are directly quoting, we often include the page number or paragraph number for where the quote came from to make it easier for the reader to locate it if they wanted to read the referenced article themselves. You may be more comfortable with footnotes over in-text citations like I just described. You will still need to include the same information in your footnote. For every in-text citation, you also need a full citation entry in your bibliography or reference page, or maybe you've heard it called Works Cited page. The bibliography is the list of articles, books, websites, and other sources you used when writing your paper. You will also notice that scholarly sources include a bibliography. A bibliography is needed whether you use in-text citations or footnotes. The bibliography includes information about the author, publication date, title of the source, and where the sources came from. For books, we also include the publisher, publisher location, and pages used. There's an example on the screen. For articles, including scholarly articles and newspaper articles, we need to include the journal title or newspaper title, volume, issue number, and page numbers. You'll also want to include the DOI, which gives a specific stable URL for the article. There's an example on your screen. For websites, we want to include the date the information was published, the title of the website, and a URL for the website. You may also want to include the date you access the website, especially if the web page doesn't have a publication date. There is also an example on the screen. Please note that in your paper, you're going to want to double space and use a hanging indent for your bibliography. If you need help with citation formatting, including the hanging indent and double spacing, schedule a research coach appointment or contact the Writing Center, and we'd be happy to help you.